Yo, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of the AVG Fantasy Football Podcast. Yeah, Andre Navarro should have wore another shirt. We're back again with another rookie episode. We're going to be touching on these incoming rookies for the 2020 NFL Draft that's coming up on Thursday. Last episode, we went over the running backs. This episode, we're going to be going over some of the receivers coming into the NFL. As always, it's your boy T here. We got the fantasy guru, special guest appearance, Kenny Ray.
College football guru. Fantasy, I'm working on it.
My bad, yeah.
Is your middle name Powers?
Appreciate you coming through.
Appreciate you having me.
We got the Messiah, a.k.a. Andre Navarro.
It's just my
his
name.
nickname is his real name. I don't know why I always say that. But.
It's always good.
And then Mr. Mike, a.k.a. Mr. Miyagi. He's on the ones and twos.
Yep, here I am.
The tech guy.
Real quick before we start, I just want to let you guys know, first off, if you're listening to us on audio podcast, subscribe to the Apple Podcasts app, or subscribe to us on the Apple Podcast app. Subscribe to us on YouTube. All you got to do is search AVG Fantasy Football on any of these things, and it should pop up. Also, I just want to give you guys a heads up. If you're listening to this podcast and you're like, damn, I just really want to hear about Cedee Lamb, or I want to hear about, T. Higgins, go ahead and check the timestamps in the description, and you can just navigate throughout the podcast and kind of pick and choose what you want to hear or listen to if you don't have time to listen to the whole thing. So, yeah, just want to let that. Oh, and also, we're doing, I know this so much. We're also doing we're going to do a NFL Draft Companion on Thursday, too. So we're going to be doing a live stream, and it's going to be dope. We might do some giveaways in the middle of it. So if you're listening, yeah, we'll do some bets, future bets. It'll be fun if you want to watch with us. We're just basically going to be watching the draft, and then you can watch with us. We'll commentate on it. And, so I forgot to say that in the last episode, but.
Well, I'm actually betting on the draft. This is the first thing I'm able to bet on in like 3 months. So
what are you betting on?
Like how many quarterbacks, how many
over-unders?
First linebacker over-unders.
Really?
I'm doing it.
Yeah, I'm sure the sports books have been like fiending to fucking get some bets in.
So, Mike, you're still not drinking, right?
Yeah, still not drinking.
I'll bring a 30-pack so we can do some beer bets, like by picks. Like, we'll just be like, I think they're going to take this person. So,
yeah.
I'll let you guys know what I have so you can root for my tickets.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, they got to coincide with his tickets. We'll see what, we got to do some.
Honestly, dude,
we're degenerates.
You might make me want to put a little bet in. I did get my unemployment for this week, so.
I'm still waiting on all my checks. All right, let's get it cracking.
Let's get it cracking. This is everything you need to know about wide receivers in the 2020 NFL Draft right here. Anyone who's fantasy relevant, or even more than that, we got you covered. All right. So
sleepers.
Take it away, Tyler.
For sure. So, yeah, first guy we're going to touch on right here, we got Oklahoma wide receiver Cedee Lamb. Cedee Lamb comes in at 6'2". He's 200 pounds. Ran a 4.5 40, 34-inch vertical. He's pretty much the consensus number one overall guy. I guess maybe you could say Jerry Jeudy. We'll touch on him next. But I think overall, Cedee Lamb is probably the number one overall guy that's going to come off as the first wide receiver on the board here. I have it written down right here. He's kind of like a DeAndre Hopkins 2.0. It's kind of what I thought. Just, crazy catch radius, good body control when the ball's in the air. He's one of these guys where he's just, he's a star in the making. He's going to be a guy I feel like in the future when we're going on. You see guys like Julio Jones and, like I said, DeAndre Hopkins, where each and every year, like, these are guys who are being drafted consistently in the first couple rounds. I think Cedee Lamb is going to be that guy going forward.
I agree. Been productive. Every year he's been in college, 3 QBs, and he's been behind, good guys. Last year he was behind Hollywood Brown and was still productive, and he's gotten more and more productive as the years have gone on. And as you're watching, dude, he just does everything. He's just a gritty guy, likes to block. He's just a football player's football player. So, dude, one stat that I was saving to say was 52% of his yards were actually on the outside, so he was almost 50-50 as far as slot and outside, which is great now in the NFL. He can line up on the outside and the inside, and he can run every route. He's good after the catch. For a rookie, he's as solid as they come. I think he's landing. I don't want to say landing spot proof, but I think he's going to be productive wherever he goes. Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously third to speak, but he's you guys already said it. He's a stud. I don't know if I'd have him as high as like a Julio Jones grade coming out, but he's up there with the D-Hop. I think D-Hop's the best comparison.
Yeah, for sure.
As far as height and skill set, and who doesn't want D-Hop on their team? Yeah. Oh wait, Bruce Aaron. Bill
O'Brien.
Let's see.
Bill O'Brien.
fucking Texans, dumbass. But yeah, he's a stud, and that's all you need to know. Me and Audrey go argue about players being landing spot proof because I have a very different take than he does. But I think he's one of those guys that's rare guys that he'll be good wherever he goes.
Well, I was just going to say that actually. So do you think the landing spot doesn't matter? Because I've seen some mocks where he's going to the Raiders, and I just think that's gross with Derek Carr and Mariota. But like now, if he goes to, I can't even think. Like, I mean, even if he went to like the Jets, I'd prefer
love him
Sam
there.
Darnold. I would prefer Sam Darnold over like if he goes to the Raiders, I'm nervous because I'm just not sold on like a Derek Carr or even a Marcus Mariota. So do you think depending on where he lands, it's going to dictate? You know. I mean, like, say if he goes to like the Packers, just hypothetically, you know. I mean, you know, I think the ceiling is through the fucking roof.
Yeah,
you know?
you go to Green Bay.
He's going. He could go. You could argue to take him 1-1-1-2 in like dynasty drafts.
Yeah.
Because I mean, Aaron Rodgers still has 3 or 4 good years left in him. You would think, right?
Yeah.
So.
That's kind of unreal. They have like the 30th pick, but I'm just saying, like, you know, compared to the Raiders is what I'm trying to say.
Well, I mean, Tyrell Williams. I'd like to think he's better than him. And Tyrell Williams had 5 touchdowns in 5 games before he got hurt. So they like to give their guys targets. I like the only one that scares me would be the Broncos. Would be the one that actually scares me. But and even then,
Lock?
no, even then I'd still take him. But that's just because they have Cortland Sutton. They have other people, but I like him. That's just my one scary spot. T was saying the Raiders, the one that, but I'd still take him though. Even the Jags. I know Art was saying if he went to the Jags, I couldn't. And I'm like,
yeah, that's a tricky one too because they got some receivers there, Chark and D.D. Westbrook. You know,
so.
Yeah, he's way better than DD coming out to me.
And DJ Shark.
Same school.
Here, Jay, you're a football coach. I thought this was crazy. So it has really nothing crazy to do with NFL, but Cedee Lamb's senior year of high school, dog, he had 98 catches for 2,000 yards and 33 touchdowns in Texas or Louisiana.
That's crazy.
Is that crazy? How do you score 33 touchdowns in, 13 games?
Does it say what school he went to?
I mean, that's why he's going to go potentially
school-
top 10
No,
overall.
So he was
You play
from
with mostly white kids?
So he was
Yeah, exactly. It matters.
No, he was born in Louisiana and moved to Richmond, Texas, because he lost his house during Hurricane Katrina. So he went. Yeah. So I don't know. He was in Texas though. So.
The Messiah with the deep dig on the info right here.
I mean, fuck, that's still crazy. But yeah, I just figured that high school 33 touchdowns is. I feel like to throw 33 touchdowns.
Dude, Dre goes so deep sometimes in these stats. He's like, yeah, and actually in 2nd grade he ate his boogers, so it was pretty wild.
That's funny you say that because his nickname Cedee Lamb was given by his
His boogers.
fourth grade coach. Look,
His nickname
Dre's
is
got the
Boogers
right
by his 4th grade coach.
I got the right up.
What's
bro.
his real name?
Cedarian. His name is Cedarian. Spelled with an S.
Anything you need to know, just ask Dre.
That's the Messiah.
Man, it's a bullshit.
All right, we
Fuck
jump
you.
into the next guy. So you got
He's got 2 names.
the next couple guys are going to be a couple Alabama receivers here. You got Jerry Jeudy, 6'1", 195, ran a 4.45 40, 35-inch vert. Just another guy right here. He's going in the first round for sure. Probably the best route runner I saw. You know, just crisp routes. And one thing I saw right here, I have it written down. I just wrote yak, yak, yak. So yards after catch. It just seemed like every time this guy was catching the ball, he was just getting a lot of yards after catch. Kind of like a Golden Tate almost. You know, it's kind of where he makes his bread and butter. Seen a couple mocks where he's going to the Niners. I'm sure you'd be kind of hyped for that. No?
I would love to see that.
See, me and Dre, we have very different opinions on these next 2 guys.
Yeah.
I like them both. We'll start with Jeudy. I love Jeudy. He's the guy that make you miss in a phone booth. He's absolutely ridiculous.
Like that?
Yeah.
Or try to press him.
He's absolutely ridiculous. But to me, he is not landing spot proof. And I think a lot. So where he gets drafted is going to just depend on his how he's successful he is.
Yeah.
He's just a guy, like, he's fast, he's great, he's not overly big, he's not gonna, he's not one of those guys. So
Oh my God.
you better be, you better go to a spot where the quarterback can get you the ball.
Yeah. So if he went to like the Raiders, you'd be a little nervous.
I would be a little worried.
What about the Niners?
Niners would be a great spot for him, I think, around a good team. But there's a couple spots like the Jags, a couple spots I would actually worry about him because he's a speed guy. To me, his NFL comparison is Calvin Ridley.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's great.
Calvin
Ridley's great. Don't get me wrong, but I don't see him being a star, and that's just me.
Yeah. No, and I will say from that time we had that talk at Yard House to now I'm lower on him and higher on Cedee Lamb. But I still do like him though. I still think he is. I don't think he's as landing spot proof as when I said that, or as landing spot proof as he is a Cedee Lamb.
We got into like almost a fist fight at Yard House because.
But he did compare him to Laquan Treadwell, who is a bona fide bum. But
I didn't compare him to Laquan Treadwell. I just said some guys
are highly scouted coming out of college.
Yes.
So I think he is a victim of being overly scouted because he has been good for so long. Like that teams are just like, oh, he drops balls sometimes. Like, bro, everybody drops balls sometimes. Like,
yeah.
So I think he is a victim of that, of being overly scouted. But at the same time, he is kind of soft. Like he's not like Cedee Lamb as far as like physical in the run game, ready to block. And I was telling Kenny the other day, they do like Wonderlic test. He tested the lowest out of every receiver we're going to talk about today. He got a 9 and 10 is retard level. So he scored below. Sorry for the word, but so I mean, granted, that's not the most important thing, but it just shows you it does matter because he's not a football player.
When was the last time he went to class at Alabama?
Yeah, exactly. So Cedee Lamb got like an 18. You know what I mean? So Cedee Lamb doubled his score. So it does go to show you a little bit of like the football acumen and stuff like that. So that kind of scared me. So I did draw back a little bit. But his talent is dumb. His route running is crazy. But that's why I'm not as high on him as I was. But yeah.
But is he gonna go? Is he gonna go up and get a contested ball? I haven't seen him make one contested catch yet. He's wide open because he runs great routes. But I'm saying you better get a quarterback that's gonna put it on you because I'm not lining him up outside and say let's go 1-on-1.
Yeah, but
he doesn't make contested catches, and that scares me.
But
every single catch on here has been no one within five yards of him.
For sure.
I want to see him go up and make a catch with the quarterback on him because that's what's going to happen in the NFL. He's not going to be breaking these dudes off like this.
Well, they're comparing him to Amari, and Amari's not a jump ball guy because Amari's route running is so good too. So I think Cedee Lamb is more of a jump ball guy, but he needs to get bigger too because he's not like a strong dude either. But
I just like how you guys keep compare him to other Alabama receivers, Amari and Calvin Ridley.
Well, yeah, I mean that's what there's. I mean his route running is up there. You know, Amari's route running was like coveted.
Amari is. Yeah,
what's his weight at?
He's like 190. 195. He's wiry.
Alabama does a great job at recruiting the same guy over and over. I mean that.
We were just talking about that. They do.
They do. So when those comparisons are real. They just recruit them, and it's a factory. It's all it is.
He's like, wait, you run a 4.4, you can run this route. I just had a dude that went to the first round, did the same thing. So.
And he's gonna go in.
And he's gonna go in the first round. They got 2 more coming next year. So.
Yeah. His teammate's gonna go in the first round as well. So another Alabama wide receiver right here, Henry Ruggs III. He comes in at 5'11", 188. Fastest 40 time in the NFL, 4.29, 42-inch vertical. So he's got some hops on him right here. I wrote right here, he's so fast, he makes other people look not fast.
Yes.
He's so fast. Dre, I'm not high on these guys, so I'll go last.
I like he's a guy I would like to go to the Niners because of just the way he is as a player. Like I feel like Shanahan would have a field day with this guy. I know everyone says Tyreek Hill. I've said Tyreek Hill, but I like the dude. I mean, he gets the comp from that, but like as far as being like a small slot guy, but he runs other routes. He's like a physical dude. But he is like I don't want to say he's like a gadget guy. No, I like him. He can return kicks. He does it all. I mean.
Anybody want to talk about these last 2 highlights of Tua just putting it on these dudes in stride?
For sure. But my thing is, but he's so fast though. If he runs a slant in the NFL and someone hits him in stride, he's gonna outrun anybody in the NFL too though, because he runs a fucking 4.27.
Hey, there's a contested jump. That's all I wanted out of the last.
So
guy.
That's what I'm saying. With him, people say, oh, he's just fast, but he can actually jump up and get it and run every route. So I would almost. Jerry Jeudy's he can almost creep up on him because he has that speed that Jeudy doesn't have, and he's a lot more physical. Like he's tougher than Jeudy is.
Yeah.
Like that's the problem that I'm starting to have with him. But yeah, if he goes to like a Niners team, I would love like end arounds, like pretty much the same way you use Deebo Samuel, and he's way faster than him. So I'm worried about breaking the press. I know we talk about that. Him being so small, like physical corners in the NFL, like a Gilmore, or even anybody in the. Even like a Jalen Ramsey, if he goes to the Niners, like that's the one thing that worries me. But
I'm already higher on him than I am Jeudy.
But I love T. You know me, T. I liked Ruggs before the combine at 3. Like he's been at 3 for me for the last like 4 months.
Oh yeah, I mean the guy's a playmaker.
Yeah,
I mean,
so I didn't even need the combine to like him. He's a fucking stud.
It has a nose for the end zone. He's not a ton of like
that's-
receptions, but I mean I think it was one every
No, I had
10
the stat.
receptions or something like that.
No, he
Season
touched the ball.
touchdown.
He touched the ball 96 times in college, and he had like 19 or 20 touchdowns.
So it's like
So
one
almost
every 4
times
touchdowns.
he
Yeah, that's what it
one
was.
time
It was
he
something
touches-
crazy. Like one every 4 times he touches the ball. He
So
gets a
that's another
touchdown,
good thing.
so-
He doesn't get touched much either. So it's not like, I mean, dude's so fast.
Not worried about injuries.
You're
or
not
anything.
worried about, and he's smart too. Like he falls to the ground. He knows that he's not the biggest guy, so he's aware, which I do like. But I like his toughness too.
So he's not the R word like Jeudy, like you call.
Yeah,
So you're not worried for like the like.
and he got
kind
a
of-
19 on the Wonderlic.
Yeah, so like top comparison right here, kind of like a John Ross. You're not worried for like that John Ross
No.
type of kind of player. Like, yeah, he's fast, but
'Cause he
like,
runs every route.
Okay.
I'm gonna debunk Dre's Wonderlic testing, but the only people that care about the Wonderlic is quarterbacks.
Yeah.
As other positions do not matter at all. But it is something
9?
to go off of. Yeah, when
9.
you go that
Bro,
low, you're like, okay,
come
you're
on,
kinda
dog.
dumb. But they don't care about it's the quarterbacks because you have to be able to hold capacity in your brain, and these guys
For sure.
don't need that.
But if you are bored though, go online. Anybody can do like an online Wonderlic test. They are kind of like they are kind of interesting.
Yeah, they're hard.
Yeah, they
we
are
got the
kinda
highest Wonderlic ever.
Yeah.
Anybody?
Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Yep. Good call.
Ryan Fitzpatrick?
Yep.
Damn.
Harvard guy.
Fucking genius. He's gotten 4 $55 million
Who got the
contracts.
lowest Wonderlic ever as a quarterback?
Jamarcus Russell.
No. Close.
Kyle
you
Murray got a
guess
lowest
I mean-
Wonderlic, didn't he?
Vince Young.
It's young.
You know why? Because he spends all his money at
Ryan
Cheesecake
Leaf.
Factory.
Yeah, that's crazy. All right, we're jumping to the next guy here. We got LSU wide receiver Justin Jefferson, 6'1", 205, ran a 4.43 40, 37-inch vertical. I have written down right here. He's just a great all-around receiver. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like he didn't do anything like nothing. For me personally, was like, okay, man, this guy does this really well. It's just like he did everything really well. Numbers were crazy good too. 111 receptions, which was tied first in college football. 1,540 receiving yards, third most, and then 18 total touchdowns. That was second most. Obviously, it helps having Joe Burrow throw you the football and having another stud wide receiver on the opposite side, Jamar Chase. But this guy right here, you know, when we're talking about like landing spot proof, I mean, he kind of seems like one of these guys, like I said, where I just feel like he was like a great all-around player where like it doesn't really matter where he goes. I think he's just going to get it done, you know, in the system.
I'd be more happy with him than maybe the other last two guys.
Yeah.
He's just an all-around dude, and then
Big slot.
yeah, he just can do it all. And like T-Rev says, numbers don't lie. And he did have Joe Burrow
111 catches is still fucking
this year.
impressive.
It's just crazy. I mean, in the SEC, we're not playing against scrubs now.
No.
We're not talking about Dre's boy from the Sun Belt.
That's right. That's my boy.
This is
That's my boy.
Chill, we're going to talk about my boy from the Sun Belt later.
Chill, bro. I can't wait for you to like somebody from the fucking Sun Belt. Waiting. You better not like nobody from the
But he's a stud.
Yeah. This is a segment where I'm going to say a lot of like random stats about people. But so his brother was in the NFL, I guess. Jordan Jefferson was an undrafted quarterback, I guess. But that was my one bit of worthless information. But I do like him. What I do like, the offensive or the play calling coordinator, Brady, who left. They ran the same offense that the Saints ran. They said 75% of their playbook was the Saints' playbook. So I would look for the Saints to take him on the later rounds because they're saying he could step in right now and run their plays like right now.
Yeah,
like he doesn't even need to. That's what they say.
That's great knowledge.
So that's a good thing to think about because especially on a shortened season, if the Saints do take him, you know, the training camp situation and all that, they're not going to be able to learn the playbook. The fact that he already knows it and the same kind of like the scheme that they use, that'll be big time. So I think that was good. And yeah, I mean, he balled and he benefited from being the second. I mean, it's crazy he's the second best receiver on his team when you have Jamar Chase, but I mean, 111 catches for like 18 touchdowns is absurd. And he had
Crazy
four
good,
touchdowns,
yeah.
and he had the 4 touchdown game against Oklahoma. Bless you. So yeah, like Kenny said, big slot guy, can get open. I would love to see him on like the Eagles or the Saints.
Yeah.
And just get a ton of targets. He's like a way better version of like Jordan Matthews, I feel
What
like.
about the Bears?
The Bears would be good too.
Who's gonna pass it to him?
Except who's going to pass it? Yeah.
gonna throw
Is he a quarterback? Did he play quarterback in college? Because
We need a receiver too, so I'm just dreaming.
I like Anthony Miller though, Doug. If we're going to do that,
Oh, he plays in the Sun Belt.
did he play in the Sun? No, he went to Memphis. Did he? Memphis.
American.
American. But
But
no,
when,
yeah,
when
Justin
he was
Jefferson.
there, they were in the Sun Belt for a little bit.
But I was surprised he ran his 40 as fast, like a 4.4 40 for as big as he is. If he can put on a little muscle, like Yeah, look at that.
That's ridiculous.
I don't want to say
That's
the comparison to like an OBJ. Like I know you guys were just comparing
Alabama.
the Alabama receivers. So I'm doing
Weird.
that same with
Jarvis
LSU
Landry or something?
But yeah, it was almost like an Odell Beckham. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like he just did everything really well.
Yeah.
You guys got anything else you want to touch on him? Jump to the next guy.
No. Was it him or the other or Chase that took the money from Odell?
It was him. And then he's like, I told you, boy. Told you, boy. Yeah, that was him.
Yeah.
Well, and Justin Jefferson, he didn't know any better.
Yeah.
He's done.
For sure. All right. Well, next guy we got T. Higgins from Clemson. He's 6'4", 215, ran a 4.4 340, 31-inch vertical. This is basically just like a Mike Williams 2.0 to me in my eyes. I mean,
Weird. What school did he go to?
Yeah, I know.
Weird.
Right here. But
Kenny, if you don't
I had
know,
Kenny Galladay run down here, but I just feel like we're gonna stay on these same team comparisons.
school.
But yeah, I mean that's basically what I feel like he is. He's just another big body guy. I mean, high points the ball, good 50-50 ball guy. Actually, I wrote here 50-50 ball. He's good at that, but it's actually like an 80-20 ball in his favor because that's how good he is. And just a touchdown machine. 12 touchdowns one year, 13 the other. So, yeah, I like him. I was a Clemson fan, kind of like I'm just a college football fan in general, so I don't really have a certain team I root for, but I do like the Clemson Tigers, so I do root for them. And and just watching him, he's I think he's a a stud player, and I'm just curious to see where he lands because depending on where he lands, like I've seen the Eagles potentially. Like if he can go to the Eagles and kind of take over that Alshon Jeffrey role, because I think Alshon Jeffrey's on like his last leg.
Literally,
this could be like a stud wide receiver for you.
Yeah. I love T. Higgins. Maybe more than a couple other guys that we mentioned previously, and that's just me and my offensive philosophy. I'm gonna prefer a guy who can go up and get it. Yeah. And if we need it, it's 50-50. Like you said, it's going to be 80-20. And you'll see, unlike Jeudy, virtually all of these highlights are going to be him with somebody draped on him, and he's going to win. He's going to win that ball. So like, I think he's a guy who can come in day one and be a wide receiver one on a team, which can't. I'm not sold about those other guys. Being wide receiver ones from day one. This is a guy that can be. So
I mean, they've been playing at the highest level. Clemson's been good for several years now. So
his whole college career.
So
But he is very, it's kind of Mike Williams 2.0. He is Mike Williams over. Yeah. Look at that. Every highlight will be contested.
Yeah. It's like I said, 80-20. Like it's like he's throwing these 50-50 jump balls, but it's 80-20 might even be giving the DB like extra credit, because it could be 90-10, or
I'm gonna get that every time.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I was bigger on him before than now, but I saw him as like a more athletic Alshon Jeffrey, which is probably like fucking Mike Williams. So I guess it's pretty much the same thing. I like how big he is, like the way he moves for how big he is. Like, dude is fast, like out of his break. When I was watching him against Ohio State, I was like, dude, who is that? And I was like, fuck, it's T. Higgins. Like he moves fucking, and his strides are so long that he just like eats up yardage. So I don't know. I think I'm trying not to let his pro day bother me as much as just like as other things, but talent wise, if he can they say like his route running, but his size and his speed, he could be.
That's be the perfect example of somebody putting way too much into a goddamn workout with no pads on.
Yeah.
This kid's a football player.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm trying not to think about
he's going to go up and get it.
Yeah. Like he's
look at that.
And
but
he's
this is
fast.
Charlotte, so it doesn't matter. They folded their program.
Yeah, exactly. Weird. We were just talking about
Charlotte.
Charlotte.
The guy just runs to two people.
That guy's like that dude played. Hey, that guy. Look, that guy. Go back. That guy chasing him didn't even know where the ball was at.
That guy's gonna be like when he's older, he's gonna be like, yeah, I used to play against T. Higgins.
Hey, he looked to the left. The dude was going to anyway. No, and he runs fast, and I think he even plays faster. So I think he could. No, everything translates. He's big as fuck. He can catch it.
He's a day one guy. That's this fantasy purpose, which is the reason the show. He's a guy I think more than some of the other guys we mentioned before that'll have an impact right away.
Yeah. I think he could be like a landing spot proof kind of guy. Just his
He's on the
frame and
cusp.
his big ability. Because just throw it up there, throw those back shoulder fades, whatnot, and he's gonna go win those jump balls.
I think you guys are bigger on him than I am, but he's still going to go top 45 picks.
I will go on a limb and say, I'm bigger on. I think he'll be one of the best receivers in this class.
Yeah, I think you guys are, but he's still going high up there. Like,
no, I don't care where he goes. He's going to be. I don't care where he goes in the draft. He's going to be a guy that makes an impact day one.
For sure. All right, we're jumping to the next guy right here. We got your guy Dre. You kind of brought me onto this guy right here, but we got Baylor wide receiver Denzel Mims.
Denzel Mims.
Denzel, Mims, drop it. What's that Mims song? This is why it's hot.
This is why.
I was
Yeah,
gonna say drop
I
it like it's
forgot.
hot. Yeah.
He had one more song. He had one more song, I think.
But Mims comes in. He's 6'3", 215, ran a 4.38 40, so that's pretty quick, and 38-inch vertical. So you like that too. One thing I just saw looking at the film, strong hands, physical guy with the corners, and I joke around all the time and I say he reminds me of a Devontae Parker, but like this guy literally reminds me of a Devontae Parker kind of guy where you just throw it up to him and he just goes out and gets it.
I remember this, T. I sent you the video. I said, "Dog, go to his first catch," and then he sent me a video. Goes, "Dog, his first catch that reminds me of Devontae Parker." I was like, Jesus Christ, T. I mean, he does.
I know we joke around about it a lot, but he
like,
probably
bro.
does remind me the most of like a Devontae. We kind of finally saw Devontae Parker break out this year. We finally saw him actually, live up to his potential. And like I would honestly say, like this guy really does remind me of like a Devontae Parker.
He's a big dude, and this was pre-combine. Then he went and I didn't think he was that fast, like running a 4.38, but big dude. I already he ran track in high school. He ran the 200 meter in 21 seconds, which I think is which is pretty fast, right?
The 221
He
seconds?
ran the 200 meter in 21 seconds in high school. So
Yeah. I like what I see. I don't know. I'm not going to go. I don't know a
6'4",
lot
big
about
guy.
him, but from what I'm seeing, he's making a lot of contested. And like I said, I put a lot into contested balls.
Yeah. He just gets separation. He's big. He can get behind, the small corners. He can break press. I mean, he's fourth. He
looks
runs
big right there.
Dog, he's 6'4" and runs a 4.38. So I think the size, as long as he can get the coaching, I think.
Ran right by that guy.
Yeah. I'm bigger on him than I am on T. Higgins, obviously, but they're very similar as far as like the
We can
playing
bet.
style.
We can make a bet.
They're similar.
So we have it on record. You want to bet?
Well, we got to wait for the draft, see where they land. What if one of them goes like?
Well, like
the
you're saying,
Cardinals?
this is probably one of the people are comparing this draft for the wide receiver class to that wide receiver class with like what is it, Odell and Mike Evans and all those guys.
No, they're
and
saying the
whatnot.
Larry Fitz, Andre Johnson, 1, 2. They're saying that 35 receivers are going to go in 7 rounds.
There's a lot of good, and like I said, if you listen to the last podcast, I was saying like this is kind of the first year I really like dig into like
That's
some
Georgia.
research for dynasty and whatnot, and I didn't know if just like all these players are just good. Or, obviously, you're watching the highlights and there's going to be good plays, but this just shows how deep this receiving and running back class is this year coming into the draft.
I'd love to see him go to the Packers, and it's probably because the colors are the same and it already looks like it. But
No, for
him
sure,
as a
yeah.
number 2 would be just let him develop. He doesn't have to worry. Let Devontae Adams eat up all the targets, and then let him just do his thing.
I mean, just imagine having Aaron Rodgers throw you balls like that. I mean,
And look,
obviously
it's
he
number 12.
can go up and
Number
get the ball.
12's already throwing him the ball.
Yeah,
Dog. It's
but just, I mean,
fucking,
like he can go up and get the ball, and that's why I said Devontae Parker because I feel like that's what Devontae Parker's game is. Like you literally just throw him the ball and he just goes up and gets it.
Yeah, I'm excited to see where he goes. That's it.
We'll see.
For sure. All right, next guy we'll touch on right here. It's actually one of my favorite guys. We got Devin the Dude. I don't know if that's his real name, but
Devin the Dude.
We've dubbed him Devin the Dude Duvernay, wide receiver from Texas. One of my favorite guys when I was looking at some film. 5'10", 200 pounds, ran a 4.39 40, so that's pretty fast. 36-inch vertical. Good route runner, strong open field runner. He has good contested catches. Fighting off the corners and whatnot like that. Kind of exploded his senior year. 106 receptions, over 1,300 yards and 9 touchdowns. That was more than his freshman through junior year combined. So came out of nowhere, kind of. Had 100 or more receiving yards. Hashtag interesting stat. I always say that. Had 100 or more receiving yards in 7 of the 13 games.
Years.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So
That's a good stat.
And Donovan Peoples-Jones can't do that one time.
In 3 years.
Yeah,
Weird.
I have it written down right here. Jarvis Landry 2.0 because he just reminded me of like a Landry, like a good. I think it's going to be a good slot wide receiver. Strong hands, but when he's in the open field, he's tough to take down. And he's shifty in the open field, and obviously he's got the speed to break away. I mean that route we just saw here on the highlight was pretty nasty.
Yeah, I think he's solid. I worry about drafting the guys that you can really only play in the slot. I don't think he can line up outside because of him being under 6 foot.
Yeah.
But just if you get home run guys in the slot and take those safeties, it's your money. So I mean, in the slot is where the money's made, and if you guy that runs a 4.3 and has 100 yards every other game, then it's solid.
Yeah, no. Same. I like him. I like his height, but I like how he's built. 200 pounds, like he's a stockier dude. So he's built for him being a slot. He can take those hits up the middle. So, and he's a tough dude too. And I have another bit of worthless information if you're ready. His twin brother goes to Texas also. So he only went there because he had offers from LSU and Alabama, but he went there so that his brother could play there. So his brother's a DB at Texas right now. So that's why he actually went there.
Yeah.
He was like a 4.5-star recruit. Like he was like
I'm mad at Texas receivers because the one I liked last year didn't work out. What's his name? Trey?
You're not talking about that little Jordan? My
Lil
boy, Lil Jordan Humphrey?
Jordan Humphrey.
He's a little Jordan. He's on the Saints, but we'll figure him out later. His parents named him Lil Jordan.
Parents named him Lil Jordan.
No, yeah, I mean, it's tough to get 100. I mean, out of the slot to get over 100 catches.
Yeah,
it's tough. And it's not like he had like a big name quarterback like Jefferson when he had 111. Who do you have throwing him the ball? That transfer? Or that kid from Texas. He's not even that great, right? Ingle. Oh, I forgot.
Sam Ellinger.
Ellinger. He's all right, but I mean, 100 and some catches. Tough guy. I mean, I like him. He's been productive for more than 1 year too. So I read his only concern is like he takes plays off, but that's like something you can coach. I mean, it's not like he's got
I've seen like some off the field issues as
Yeah.
well. So, but I feel like that's a lot of these players.
The problem with that is you don't worry about that in the NFL because they get breaks in the NFL where you're only going to be put in the game most of the time where you're not going to be put in the position to take 2 plays off. Yeah. In college, when you're running in a no huddle and you're going fast,
and you know you're not getting the ball.
You know you're not getting the ball. You're going to take plays off to catch a break. Yeah. Like we have an offense. My offense that I run is literally designed for some players to stand there.
Yeah.
Because we're trying to go fast, and if you're not getting the ball, there's no point for you to run and get tired.
Yeah, remember we played football on the beach. Remember we ran that screen? We were so tired. They said hike. 3 of us did not move. We're like, toss that
about
bitch.
real football.
Yeah, but that was real football.
For sure, yeah. Definitely one of my favorite guys. PPR guy, I think, going forward. I think, depending on his landing spot, I could see him landing on the Cowboys. Even the Packers, they need a slot guy, so I actually saw a mock draft where he went to the Dolphins. I would be hyped if we could get him.
I think just get a Duvernay jersey.
A good football player. Yeah,
Akeem
I'll just
Grant.
get the dude on the back.
That'd be dope.
Yeah.
That'd be dope.
All right, next guy we'll touch on is TCU wide receiver, Jalen Reagor. Let's see what I got on here. Rager's 5'11", 205, ran a 4.4 740, 42-inch vertical, so that's just
athlete.
Stupid crazy that he can jump high. I have it written down right here. He plays bigger than he is. So it's like, yeah, he doesn't look like the biggest guy, but with that 42-inch vertical, he's going up and getting these 50-50 jump balls over all these DBs because he can literally jump through the roof. I'm not sure if like he's going to be like a receiver that you can consistently count on. It kind of reminds me of like a McCole Hardman. Like, yeah, he's going to get like some end arounds. Maybe he can break off some big plays, kick return, punt return kind of guy. But I'm not really sold on what I saw, for him being like, kind of like the total package of like a wide receiver that's going to come in and be like, change the whole dynamic of a football team.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not as big on him either. More random facts. His dad was in the NFL for 9 years, Monte Reagor, I guess. He played. I've never heard of him, which is crazy.
Dude, Dre's like his third cousin's brother-in-law is Randy Moss.
I feel like I paid attention in 2007. Like I've never heard of that name before in my life. But with me, his junior year, he had like 1,100 yards and 9 touchdowns. And then his last year, I don't know, junior, senior year, he had like 600 yards. I know their quarterback was bad. He's one of those guys whose combine numbers are like super good. But that, I don't know. I'm not that sold on him. I read a lot and people like him. I'm just, I'm one of those
he's
guys.
A guy I've seen he's going in the first round in some mock drafts.
Like a lot of people are like, oh, the Saints this. Like he's like they're comparing. I've seen a lot of crazy like good player comparisons. I just don't. I read this thing that he doesn't know how to run routes.
Well,
like I read like his coach said that. His coach said he doesn't know how to run a route, and I'm like, if your fucking coach says that.
Well, that's hard. Like I feel like there's I don't know. They said that about DK Metcalf last year.
No, he can only run 2 routes.
Well, yeah, that's
that's all he did.
That's all
I mean, that is true.
That's all he needed.
But,
that's all he did. Come back.
I mean, even his highlights, you see, it's not him running any routes. It's like end arounds, punt returns, like big play, like a shot play, which I'm not gonna rely on guys who rely on shot plays because in the NFL, shot plays are once a game. In college, you get 4 a game. The NFL, that goes down drastically to where you have to rely on a big play out of a guy. But he looks like he looks the part.
Yeah, no,
I'll take him.
McCole Hardman, right? Is that a good comparison?
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be landing spot dependent to me. It just doesn't do it for me. Especially if I don't care how good you are. If you're going in the first round and you only get 600 receiving yards in a whole season, and you're like that good, 5 like.
It's all punt returns.
Yeah, it's like I get you're explosive, but it's like I'm not going to take you in the first round or in Dynasty. I'm not trying to take you in my first 10 picks. No. If I have to depend on a fucking punt return. If you're in a league where punt return yards matter because people do that, like they account for that. Yeah. Some leagues are like that. Then go ahead, but I'm not sold on him.
For sure. We'll jump into the next guy. I think this is Personally, all three of us, I think we can all agree we like this guy right here. We got Kentucky. You want to call him like a utility knife because he plays it all. He plays quarterback, running back, wide receiver, kick returner, punt returner, everything. You got Lynn Bowden Jr., 5'11", 205, ran a 4.4 40. I'll let you guys jump on this one first. But yeah, I think we all agree. We all like this guy, right?
Yeah, Lynn's a stud. What T-Rev hit on earlier about just being a football player, that's exactly what he is. Going to the same school comparisons, we're gonna go ahead and compare him to Randall Cobb out of Kentucky, and just like a slot guy that can kind of do it all, and that's what the Packers for so long did with Randall Cobb, and who wouldn't want a guy like that to just help you win football games?
No, yeah.
Trey's gonna come with the stat that he was.
This one's actually pretty alarming. No, this one's pretty alarming.
Had an affair.
No, so we were talking about how, Lynn Bowden, I love him, athlete. Talk about like off the field problems. Here's a pretty interesting, since I'm giving you a bunch of bullshit, I got to be consistent. He got into a verbal and physical altercation with Virginia Tech players and his own coaches during pregame warmups prior to his last game that he played in the Belk Bowl, and had to be escorted by field and law enforcement prior to the game.
Yeah, then he caught the game-winning touchdown right there.
I'm just saying that's pretty wild. Like, that's crazy.
So he was talking shit and he backed it up.
And his coaches, his own coaches.
Well, yeah, because he's like, Coach, I'm better than you.
Yeah.
That's why I play all the positions. I'm the offense.
Yeah,
You're gonna
no,
kick
I
me
like
out of the
him.
game.
Like, that's
good luck moving the football.
Exactly.
So that's alarming. I mean, but either way, I like the talent. I think I like dude. He's a beast. He got the award. I don't know the name of it in college football, but it's awarded to the best athlete in college football, and he won it. So, I mean, there's a lot of athletes in college football. So for him to win it out of Kentucky is impressive, because we've gone through a good amount of guys. And at a high school, he set quarterback and rushing records. So for him to be playing wide receiver now, like T-Rev said, multiple positions. He's super quick, like twitchy. I mean, I think he's quicker than fast, but he's still fast. So he's going to be one of those late guys too. But he can. I'm curious to see where he lands. But I like him. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen some things saying
way better than Reagor, which is crazy.
I know I keep bringing up because I'm a Dolphins fan, but Miami might get him. But yeah, I just like the fact that, like I said, we touched on some of these players. Like, they're football players. Like, when you play quarterback, you play wide receiver, you play running back. Like, you just understand the game at so many different levels than just lining up wide every other play. So you like seeing that. His football smarts should be through the roof. We're joking around this Wonderlook scores and stuff like that, but. I just feel like sometimes like football smarts, like just like field presence and whatnot like that, you can't teach that kind of stuff. So
no, and on top of that, he had I saw 25 returns for 600 yards. So he's good in the return game. So I mean, any way you can get on the field is
just a football player overall. So
which is great. I mean, teams are going to love that.
Yeah. We jump to the next guy right here. You got USC. I know you're a Trojan fan, Dre. We got Michael Pittman Jr., 6'4", 220, ran a 4.5 240, 36-inch vertical. I had to switch my T. Higgins comparison from Kenny Golladay to Mike Williams because this guy kind of reminds me of Kenny Golladay.
He is Golladay.
Yeah. And Mike Evans. I put Kenny Golladay / Mike Evans
/
mix.
Devontae Parker.
No, not Devontae Parker. It's Kenny Golladay, Mike Evans mix right here. I mean, it's kind of crazy because I feel like if this guy was coming out maybe last year or he'd be one of these guys we're talking about. And like, I can't believe that he could be like you said, he could be like the 10th wide receiver off the board, but this could be arguably the safest.
He could be like the Terry
wide
McLaurin
receiver in the entire class.
He could be that McLaurin type.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dre will tell you. Let me tell you before Dre pulls up his.
No, Jerry's
sheet.
about.
His dad played in the NFL a long time. Little brother plays at Oregon, who's a stud. So they just come from a good football family.
He's a beast.
He is a guy that you'll see makes contested catches all the time, and that's what I like. He's tall, lanky. He's gonna go up and get it, Galladay-esque, and I think I'm higher on him than a lot of the early guys. It just, he's just a kind of can't miss prospect. And like T-Rev said, is if this draft wasn't so deep, you can be looking at him maybe in another draft going in the first second round. How he's projected like round 3 to 5 is crazy to me.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think by when it's all said and done, someone will take him back of the second. He's like,
now you're talking about back second round. Now a guy like you let him end up in Green Bay, it's over.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. There's so many guys that are so similar. How we're saying that. For example, if you're like the Packers, if you don't want to get a T. Higgins in the first, get whatever you need and then take him in the second. There's so many guys that are similar. That's why landing spots should be interesting. But no, I like him. And how I was telling you, Jay, he had 3 career punt blocks at USC, so he's good on special teams also. You know, for being a bigger guy like that. I mean, fuck, three block punts is I would say is impressive. So. And like we said, that's the best way to get on the field as a rookie is through special teams. And like I said, it's all right. And on top of that, how Kenny said his dad was in the NFL, so he already gets how to be a professional. Like his dad can help him with that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So that can only help you. I can't see how, you know, having a dad in the NFL is going to hurt you. So it can only help him. And he's a 4-year guy. I like seniors like that have kind of been through it. He's been through different QBs, so I feel like he's like maturity-wise, I think he'll be.
He's gone through 4 terrible years at USC.
4 terrible quarterbacks. Terrible quarterbacks.
Says a lot about his character.
So he's a good guy. 111 catches.
Yeah, I feel like he could be one of those
productive.
guys where he could go like undrafted in your fantasy draft, but he could be like a Terry McLaurin or like
fantasy,
a DJ Chark in fantasy, where like
Yeah.
he goes undrafted, but then like week 1 he just balls out, and you pick him up, and he's just an immediate impact. I think this guy's an immediate impact on whatever team he goes to, because he's just. I mean, he's got the big body, he's got the speed, like you said, he's got the pedigree of his dad being in the NFL for so long, and then it just has hashtag interesting stat. He had the lowest drop rate out of any wide receiver in the entire nation. So could you say he has the surest hands out of anybody in the entire college football? I mean, you could say that because he didn't really drop the ball. So you throw him the ball, he's catching the ball. You like seeing that there.
Tyler was just like he had the best drop rate in the entire nation. He's like, could you say he's the best? Yes.
You could debate he's the best.
Maybe these Trulies are hitting me. For sure. I would jump to the next guy. We got South Carolina wide receiver. Dre, I know this is one of your guys. Bryan Edwards. He's 6'3", 212.
That's my guy.
Didn't I don't think he worked at the combine.
See, look at these first two catches.
I just have it written right here. Big body. He attacks the football and all hands team because he's got some strong hands here. Although I can say this, I wasn't taken away by I didn't feel like he did anything spectacular that like blew me away.
Yeah. So no, this is me. So I told you from months. This is obviously not like immediate impact, but I see just Michael Thomas as far as the way he uses his hands to get open. He uses his body to get open. I mean, I don't know, Jay, if you look down, you just saw that catch. Like, he doesn't do anything. Like, he's not exceptional at anything, but neither is Michael Thomas. He's able to get open. He knows when to, the soft spots in the zones. But what I do love about him is he's missed 3 games in 4 years, and he has gotten at least a 19% target share every year that he's been playing. And he played his freshman year of football as a true freshman at 17 years old. So he's been playing. I love seeing that. No injury concerns until now. He had a stress fracture in his foot when he went to do his physical at the combine. But, I mean, 3 games in 4 years. The production's been there. He played behind Deebo Samuel. I mean, for being 6'3", I think this is one of the guys. He's one of my favorite receivers in the draft, honestly.
Yeah.
I read they have him mocked to the Texans. I mean, size 6'3", runs a 4.5. He's hard to tackle. I mean... Yeah,
kind of reminds me of Alshon Jefferson.
Yeah, he's but wait, no, but moves way fast. Yeah, but moves way faster. T. He's one of I don't know if it'll be the first year, but everything as long as he can stay healthy, which is weird because he only missed 3 games. Like I said, I just love the film. He just goes up and catches everything, dog. Like he gets everything, and then he's hard to bring down, and he's always open. And that reminds me of Michael Thomas. Like I said, he's not gonna run by you or do anything crazy, but he's just always catching the fucking ball. Like he's just and he's always getting draped in coverage. So every time I looked, I was like, man, like good catch. So,
I mean, yeah, Kenny, you do like these players who go up and get it in these 50-50 spots. I mean, we're seeing the highlights right here. He's getting it done.
He's impressive. He's impressive for sure. Kind of looks like a tight end body a little bit.
Big body guy, right?
Like he
6'3",
might
225.
Yeah, he might want to start putting his hand in the dirt, put on 20 pounds, and be a phenomenal tight end.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like he's how big? You said 6 what?
6'3", 220. Actually, I looked. He's built. He has the exact same height and weight as Michael Thomas. Him and Michael Thomas are exactly the exact same. They're 6'3", 2. Whatever Michael Thomas is. Yeah. They're the exact same.
He's 215.
Yeah, but that's why I thought it was funny. Remember, T? I was like, dog, they weigh and they're built the same.
Yeah.
But we'll see. He's going to be a day 3, day 4 guy, but he's just one of my favorite guys. Like T didn't really like him as much as I did, but like I said, he's not.
What do I know?
Yeah. I mean, what do any of us know? I just like what I saw. I was like, dude's just tough.
Don't say that, Tyler.
Yeah.
He knows so much.
Don't clip that shit.
For being that big, I like him. That's my one dude.
For sure.
Bryan Edwards.
All right, move on to the next guy. We got Brandon. He say Aiyuk.
Aiyuk.
So kind of just a funny story. I know I'm kind of derailing right here, but I had this dream about watching. Like I was watching film on this player, but every time he would catch it, they'd be like, "Brandon Aiyuk with the catch," and it was like the Street Fighter shit.
That's how you remember his name.
And I woke up and I was like, "All right, I gotta watch." So there must be a sign. I have to watch.
He was on the Dolphins.
If that doesn't tell you how invested we are on these receivers, is that we're out here having dreams about these guys. All right.
Hope he's not watching.
So every time I say his name, I want to say Brandon
Tyler,
Aiyuk. But
if we ever have him on the podcast, will you tell him that you had a dream about him?
Yeah, he's fast.
All right, so he's 6 foot, 205, ran a 4.5 40-inch vert. Just some things I saw him with, good release off the line. He was a nice route runner, good deep threat kind of guy. I know Kenny, you kind of touched on Arizona State. How they have those NFL coaches.
I like him. I like what he brings to a team. Again, what we talked about earlier with the Arizona State having a bunch of NFL guys. He's just a ball player. Like I watched a lot of Arizona State games where it was 3rd and 10 and they needed to play, and that's who they turned to. And I like those guys because you can't simulate those pressure moments. Like, hey, I'm gonna go. We need to play. Who are we going to? So you get those guys on the team, and that's how you build culture.
No, yeah, he's
I like him. Jalen Daniels, the Arizona State quarterback, is a stud.
He's definitely like a dynamic playmaker, and he returns punts. I know, I keep saying that, but he's like effective in the punt return game. Like he can go and get you. He's one of those guys where even if he's not on the field initially, he can like flip the field position as a punt returner and kind of find his way on the field. But good size, junior college guy we talked about earlier, transferred over there. I mean, the fact that he can line up, exactly. He can line up on the inside and the outside, and this dude's breakaway speed. He's another guy who runs faster than he probably is, and he's already fast as it is. I wonder where he's going to get drafted as far as like rounds, like late first. All these guys were, first 50 picks. I don't see him going later than that, 40 picks. But I like his game for the fact that he can be on the field all 4 downs. Yeah, which is always good.
So. I think I saw a mock with him going to the Eagles. The Eagles could realistically draft two or
three
guys.
Receivers. Yeah,
that should be awesome.
They've been struggling.
Dude, Greg Ward
played Greg Ward and JJ Arcega-Whiteside like 4 games.
Yeah, it was bad.
Receiver helped bad.
And Nelson Aguilar was our number 1, and he couldn't catch babies falling from out of a fire, burning house. So.
He's no longer on the team. Nelson Aguilar, he's on the Raiders now.
Yeah, Raiders. Yep.
Yeah. For sure. All right, next guy we'll touch on right here. We got Laviska Shenault Jr. 6'1", 227 from Colorado. Runs a 4.58 40. Just crazy interesting stat I saw right here. He led the nation in receptions a game at 9.6 average in 2018. 2019 kind of fell off a little bit. This was like a tricky guy for me to kind of like really break down because I felt like obviously he's athletic, he's versatile. They line him up in the Wildcat. He's running out there. I guess maybe like a Cordero Patterson kind of comparison of how they used him over there in Colorado. I think this is a guy who's going to get drafted pretty high just on what he could be, but I'm not sold on what he is. You know what I'm saying? Like I kind of just think like, I don't know, like the Pac-12 talent compared to like, SEC, Big Ten, some of these other talents, what he's going against. I wasn't completely sold on it. Yeah, the guy's an athletic freak, but is it going to transition to the NFL? I'm not 100% sure. I mean, what do you think?
This is my my guy.
I love this guy
guy.
Too.
So I mean, this guy all year was projected a top 10 pick, and he got a ab injury, which held him out, and he's going to drop to the third round. This guy's freak speed, freak everything. People are comparing him to Julio Jones. Like he's my guy. So if you're looking for a late round sleeper, go up and get it, catch everything. Just an absolute freak. Then go ahead. I'm giving it to you right here for free. Yeah, drop knowledge.
I think he's going to go in the 2nd round. I think he's going to go sooner than that. To be honest with you, so
the teams are worried because he had a core injury, which he can't really do surgery on. It's tough.
Dude ran a 4.6 40 with that injury. So remember that. So he did that he still ran at the combine and he didn't do good. And then he had the surgery after because he was like, I'm fucked. Like I've been telling T about him. T's like, I don't like him as much as you do, whatever. I was telling more worthless stats. So the reason he has dreads, he hasn't cut his hair since his dad died. His dad got hit by a car when he was 10 and he hasn't cut his hair since. So that's why he grows dreads. It's like
worthless stat.
I don't say that's not worthless, man. Is that guy? Hey,
Hey, I did see that. I saw that he.
Who else
his
has worthless
basketball
stats?
team wanted him to cut his dreads,
And he wouldn't do it. He
so
wouldn't do it.
So he didn't play basketball.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I told Jerry, so I went to school in Dubuque. His mom is like the leading scorer over there. Like she like has all the basketball records in Dubuque. So athletic, I mean, I don't know. I can't say athletic for me. I don't know his dad.
Hopefully he doesn't go to the
I mean,
Texans.
I'm pretty sure his dad's athletic.
I'm sure, but no, I like I told you, T, I would love to see him on the Ravens because he lined up at fullback, H-back, tight end, wide receiver, all that in Colorado. He played quarterback a good amount, and I mean, just I like him because of the athlete. And if dude is big, he weighs 225. He looks like a fucking linebacker.
Yeah.
And when he's healthy, he runs 4.40. He's like in that area. So I would love to see him 49. I would love to see the Niners take him, the Ravens. I know I keep saying those teams, but just as athletic as he is.
The Bears, he'd be number
Yeah.
one in Chicago.
Well, the thing is, and you say Cordero Patterson, I know I already told you this. The thing with Cordero Patterson was they said he was dumb as fuck. He couldn't read a playbook. He doesn't know plays. He just knows catch the ball and run away from people. So this guy, from what I read, he's another one of those high character guys, like loves football. That's why he's willing to, not many receivers that are good are willing to play all these positions because they can, So he knows how good he is. He's a team guy. I mean, yeah, I like everything about him. I'm big on him. I'm looking to get him. Dynasty drafts, he's like early second round, like late first.
Yeah.
For your dynasty league. Startups, I don't know. I'm not doing startups right now for dynasty. Probably late, but I think he's going to go in the second round of the real draft. I think there's somebody out there that thinks the same thing me and Kenny think, that he's a fucking athlete. Like someone's going to snag him up.
For sure. I mean, yeah, guy's super talented. I think with me, it's just kind of like the risk reward. Like he could be a stud, but could he bust?
High ceiling, low.
But like we just touched on Michael Pittman a little bit ago. Like I feel like Michael Pittman's kind of like a can't miss guy. I feel like he's going to be good no matter what. This guy's kind of like, the ceiling is through the roof, but the floor is. I mean,
I'm willing to. It's a risk. You got to be willing to take the risk. But
we'll see what happens. I mean, the guy's, as you said, super talented, and I do like the fact that he's playing multiple positions because at the end of the day, football player. He's a football player.
He reminds me, and it's tough to say now, he reminds me of like a bigger version of like a A.J. Brown. Like when you give him the ball, A.J. Brown's so good, but that's what I think of when I see him with the rock in his hand. Like it's
funny.
He's like a running
A.J.
back.
Brown is already big.
And he's bigger than him.
No, I know. That's why
That's what I'm
it's like crazy.
It's crazy.
For sure. All right, well, last couple guys we're here we'll touch on. We got Notre Dame wide receiver / I guess they want to try to make him a tight end, but we got Chase Claypool. He's 6'5", 238, ran a 4.4 240 and a 40-inch vert.
238.
This is actually one of my favorite guys
Yes,
watching
sir.
on the film just because he's such a big dude and he jumps through the roof. I know there's been some kind of like Calvin Johnson comparisons because I guess, only him and Calvin Johnson are
The vert and all that.
Yeah, like to have the numbers at the combine and be as tall and weigh as much as he weighs. Him and Calvin Johnson are the only two guys to be able to put up those kind of numbers at the combine. I mean, I'm not saying he's going to be Calvin Johnson, but I do think this guy. I mean, I would be shocked. I would be shocked to see him not have a successful NFL career because I mean, he's obviously a talented guy. Where, like I said, he can just go up and get it. And I think the more he gets into the NFL, he's only going to develop and get even better. I'm just curious to see where he lands. Do they make him a tight end? Could he just be kind of like I don't want to say a slot wide receiver, but I mean.
Well, I'm curious what position they're going to call when they draft him. I mean,
Yeah.
what if someone wants him as a tight end? Like,
Yeah.
because he's out. He's. Like
I mean, the guy's uber talented. I mean, to have a guy who can run that fast, jump that high, and then he's already 6'5". I mean, what do you know what the average height of a DB is?
In the NFL, like 6 foot, maybe
Yeah.
5'10", 6
So he's already got 5 inches on them, and then now he can jump 40 inches.
He's like a Darren Waller, but faster almost.
I mean, you're talking about jumping up, getting these 50-50 balls. I mean, he's the ultimate goal, 50-50, throw it up in the end zone kind of guy, and he gets it.
For sure.
Yeah, I'm impressed.
Yeah, I wonder where he goes and what he's going to be used at exactly. Like, if a team could use like a tight end, like, do you put him there? Like, what do you? You know how it is with tight ends. It takes him a year because
It's weird.
the
It kind of reminds
transition.
me like a Will Fuller.
The Notre Dame reference.
It's not the race
I'm
thing.
just kidding.
I could see maybe like on the Cowboys, like maybe they need a tight end. Like Jason Witten's not there anymore, potentially. Possibly go to the
sure,
Cowboys with that. He'll end up on the Patriots. Watch.
Yeah, of course.
Seriously, I wouldn't be fucking surprised. Honestly, I don't even know who their tight end is right now.
Yeah.
Oh, Ben Watson, he's 50. That's right.
Still
Yeah.
league.
What we got? We got to keep pushing. Is that the last one?
Last one right here. This is kind of just like my last guy.
Oh, that's
here.
right. Go ahead, T. Let's
So
do it.
we got Omar Bayless out of the Sun Belt.
Oh,
You're
Sun
talking
Belt.
about shit about the Sun Belt.
I'm fucking out of here. I'm fucking out of here.
Yeah, you got the Sun Belt Player of the Year, Omar Bayless.
Sunbelt player. The Sunbelt Player of the Year.
Are you sure? I thought Dre's boy got Sunbelt Player of the Year.
Oh, was it? Oh, maybe not.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Dre's guy got Sunbelt.
I did kind of just pull that out of my ass. I just know he's good.
No,
These
no,
numbers
yeah.
are just impressive.
Yeah, he said I just pulled it. I didn't pull that out of my ass.
Dre had the Sunbelt bigger bitch boy of the year.
Like I said, okay, I'm just a big numbers guy. So Omar Bayless out of Arkansas State, senior, 6'2", 212, ran a 4.62 40, 36-inch vertical. He's one of these guys where, like, yeah, 4.62 doesn't sound that fast, you know, in NFL, you know, speed-wise, but he plays faster than what his speed says, because, you know, you see him breaking off these big runs here. But the numbers are just crazy. You know, I say all the time, men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie. But 93 receptions was 9th most in the nation, 1,650 yards, second most, and 17 touchdowns was the 3rd most in the nation. And it just kind of makes me think of, like, yeah, this guy plays in the Sun Belt. He's playing against, like, these lesser competition compared to some of these guys in the SEC, Big Ten, whatever you want to call it. But, I mean, you see guys like Kenny Galladay, who came from, Northern Illinois. You got Cooper Kupp, who came from, like, Eastern Michigan or something crazy like that. So it's not unrealistic to see some of these guys from these, like, lower level colleges come out and, you know, perform. You know, this guy kind of just came out of nowhere his senior year, but, you know, kind of I'll just touch on what Andre does, you know, useless information here. But
is it actually useless if you didn't know?
Useless.
It's not useless.
Everybody he's came in contact with has passed away.
So yeah, a lot of his family members have died and passed away. You know, he was actually like just thinking about giving up football.
It's tragedy, bro.
Coach's wife actually passed away. He was really close to the coach's wife, and he kind of just dedicated this senior season to all the, you know, his family and friends that passed away.
High character.
And the coach's wife that passed away.
He was close to the coach's wife.
So maybe not high character.
I'm just asking. I'm just listen, dude.
This is useless information.
You guys do the research, and I'm sitting over here and I'm listening, and I'm listening to what you're saying. You're saying, yeah, he's a great guy. He was really close to the coach's wife, and all I'm thinking is why? Why was he so close to the coach's
true.
wife?
Hey, she was a running backs coach. What was she?
Yeah, dude. She's out there bringing lemonade, dude. Sunbelt.
For sure.
To hit on what T was saying, though, I do like guys that have a chip on their shoulder. They have something to play for.
I mean, look, AB was drafted in like 5th or 6th round.
Where did he come from? Central Michigan or something like that?
Yeah, but he's psycho. No, that's why I like JJ Taylor.
Well, yeah, but he's gonna have a solid like 8 years
in prison.
That's it.
I just like this guy. This guy's going to be like a later round draft pick. I mean, he could be nothing. Yeah, but could he be someone?
You never know.
You know what I'm saying?
Hey, you never know.
Just a guy that, you know, like I said, I really try to look at the numbers, you know, at the end of the day. And here's a guy who just came out and kind of just like dominated. I mean, like sometimes, like you said, when we touched on Darrington Evans, you know, kind of just like he did what he did with the competition against him. You know,
he looks good. I like it.
He's the best of the bunch of that's there. You know, the best of the bad.
Best
bunch.
player in the Sun Belt.
I mean, he's
Dre will fight you for it.
No, well, how we were saying, me and Kenny were saying how this class is so like it's so broad as far as like scouting, like perspective, that some scouts are being asked about receivers and they say they take them in like the 3rd or 4th round, and then they'd ask other scouts the same player and they're like, I wouldn't even draft him. So I mean, you never know. Someone might like him in the 4th round as opposed to someone who doesn't like him at all. You know, so because there are so many receivers that he can fuck around and land somewhere decent. You know, you never know.
I will say this. I told Dre, I read an article about how the coronavirus is going to affect the draft so much this year. He was saying usually all these scouts and all these guys, they come together at pro days, all these combines and events. They come together and they talk about, who do you like, where do you have him, where do you have him, and the fact that none of these guys have been around each other, that they have guys that are saying they're going to go in the 2nd round, that some guys have going undrafted, and vice versa.
Yeah, so it's a wide.
It's going to be a wide. It's going to be a weird draft.
It's going to be a preference instead of listening to like other people. Like, oh shit, it's like you're going to have to really do your own homework now because, I mean, the Rona.
For sure. Yeah, I just wanted to touch on him. Maybe I'm just rooting for him personally.
Hey, fuck it. Hey,
to see him succeed.
The worst that happens is that he's good and you look smart. You know,
happened, dude.
Tyler's like me. Yeah, so me and Omar were really close with the coach's wife. I mean, Omar was really close with the coach's wife.
Yeah, I killed all his friends.
For sure. All right. Well, that was it. That's just the receivers here. So, like Mike said earlier, we're gonna do a live stream when the draft on this Thursday. Follow us on Instagram. subscribe to the YouTube channel. Help us out if you can, please. Much
sir.
appreciated.
Tell a friend to tell a friend.
Appreciate Kenny coming through the college football guru. I said the fantasy guru.
No.
You know,
Not yet. That's you.
You know, it's hard.
I stay in my lane.
You know, it's so hard with like I just thought about this when you said tell your friend. It's like I've had friends. They're like, dude, you guys helped me out so much with my fantasy team, and I'm like, oh, sick. And they're like, yeah, dude, I ain't telling anybody about you guys. And I'm just like, oh, well, fuck.
No, it's not the idea,
you.
bro.
Yeah. Well, but the idea is he's like, dude, I don't want to give up my secrets. So
No.
I'd be like,
course.
you don't even follow us, you piece of shit. What the fuck?
Figure it
I
out.
hate you. Hope
Yeah.
you lose your fantasy league.
But
too.
it is hard like that.
I hope Derek Juska
If this
tackles
Best pass rusher you ever heard of.
if you listen to this podcast and you got some viable information from it,
crush that guy.
go ahead and send us if you have any other questions, like you're curious about like some quarterbacks from the draft or anything like that, you can ask us. Shoot us a DM on Instagram, our business, if you want anything like that. Our email's down there in the description as well. Like Tyler said, subscribe to YouTube, like this video, all that, and that's it for us. We appreciate you guys, and see ya.